A century and a half ago, 400 unfortunate souls were buried alive in a mining collapse 10 miles deep in the earth. Mysterious ancient catacombs surround their subterranean settlement, while bioluminescent fungus creates a ceaseless glow on the bustling city of 2000. Welcome to the rocky beaches of Brightshore.
So, just a quick reminder for everybody. When last we left off, you had gathered up your belongings and everything you needed to go on a dungeoneering mission into the Warrens. Your goal was to make it to where Meizaphir's cousin had found something unusual. Possibly where he died. There's a lot of confusion surrounding it. It was rumored to be at an exploratory mineshaft 13, I believe. And it's about a week and about 5 days into the tunnels that you have to go. Meizaphir's father pulled out a map and helped plot it for you so that we had a rough idea of where you were going. Unfortunately, it was going to take you near to where the belly patch accident occurred, just down some different tunnels. So hopefully you won't have to revisit any of that misery as you set out. You had tightened your straps, gotten everything situated, said your goodbyes, been locked out of your home if you were Kheddeerta, whose parents were all too eager to send her off into the world, out from under their roof for at least a couple days. And you set out. So, plans and plans. You are heading for, eventually, Area 7, the exploratory area on the map. It's going to take about 5 days to get there. Walker, Meizaphir, you've walked through these tunnels quite a bit. There are lots of little side chutes that aren't represented on this map, and areas that are known to both of you that are also not represented on this map. Hidden areas and different mysterious places that you've come across before. But what's gathered here and drawn out before you should be good enough to get you where you need to go and back. When you're plotting out your first day, you know that if you put in a very long day, you can make it to the Ford camp. Otherwise, you might be able to stop in at the Meatbug Farm to rest there, put in a short first day one, catch some rest there, and then head onwards. But your real decision is going to be if you head up through the lake or just cut straight over to the elevator in Mineworks. Let's go ahead and take a moment to think out your course, plot out the way that you want to head, and discuss some of the pros and cons, and then we'll jump into it.
So, question about the map a little bit. It looks pretty linear as far as 1, 2, 3. However, just between 1 and 2, there's a tunnel that goes towards 5. Is that viable, or is that a chute that goes from 5 to 1, like chutes and ladders?
That is viable. So everything plotted out on this is basically on one plane. You are able to access all of those places from here. There might be some elevation gain and loss. There might be some caverns that you have to move through and things like that, but you are able to get between all of those places that are connected.
Are there any just unexplored openings in here? Because I see a lot of branches, but none of them look like they are just like they go off into the unknown, and this is as far as it's been mapped. Can we assume that every branch ending is continued?
Yes, every branch ending is continued or has been purposely caved in, so it could still be worked through, but but there are several that were caved in due to safety reasons.
Is there any way we can find out which ones are the ones that have been caved in due to safety reasons?
As you get closer, rather than me marking them out on the map in advance, we'll, like, as you get to Area 7 and then head south, you'll see the markings and know which one's which.
Okay.
We should probably post this for the listeners, but just to give a heads up, it's almost like some of these caverns are fishbone kind of looking, where there's one long kind of line and then up to 10 possible offshoots that head into darkness, where there may or may not be a dead end. We're not exactly sure on these rib bones.
Yeah, and this represents one level, effectively, that's been explored. There are levels both above and below and somewhere in between that have also been mapped out but not explored as extensively by the tunnel divers. Certainly not on the maps that Walker and Meizaphir have.
So Gornak will speak up as they're, I think we kind of left off. They're staring down this open mouth of a tunnel. It's about to swallow them whole into this complete darkness. And he says, "Well, I'm not much for tunnel diving, but I seem to remember there's the meat bug farm not too far, and it is late. I don't think we could push far enough to get to the forward camp. So perhaps we take refuge there, sojourn at the farm, and we continue in the morning."
Would agree.
Is the plan to go to the forward camp and then carry on from there to the exploratory area? Because we could also just cut through via the elevator and mineworks straight to the exploratory zone.
I think we take the shortcut, like you said. Would shave off a day or two, but I don't know what it looks like beyond this map. Perhaps there are obstacles and pitfalls that'll cause us more trouble than it's worth.
It's certainly the more direct route. However, if we wanted to stop at the forward camp for supplies.
I believe we are adequately supplied currently, if I do recall. I'm not sure what they would have at the forward camp that we would find ourselves in need of.
In that case, I like the plan of at least hitting through the forward camp, through the meat bug farm, and then cutting over to the elevator and mineworks.
Kheddeerta shrugs. I've never done any of this, so whatever you guys decide, that works for me.
Just to clarify, Walker has a torch.
Yeah, how's the glow bright? Is there much in this area, or is it definitely going to be torch light?
So it has been grown for probably the first mile in or so, but pretty quickly you're going to move past it, so you'll need torches, whether that's clumps that you've gathered up into a lantern, or an alchemical torch that you put together, or fabric that you're burning. So I would remind you, if you're burning a torch, you're in a fairly enclosed space, so it's going to get sooty, and torches burn pretty quickly.
Question for you, Kyle. Did we get from my father, did we get a route that they took? Or where my cousin, at least part of where he went?
Said
that we might be able to...
Yeah, so he, what your father told you was that your cousin had drawn him a short map from Area 7, heading up towards where he found this exploratory shaft 13. And then your father had actually parted ways with your uncle and the rest of them a few days ago up in Area 7 and headed back. He came back by way of the camp. He circled up through the lake and came back down so that way he could get supplied there. But the original route from your cousin, he doesn't know. He just knows the tail end of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea of where we might be able to pick up a trail. Probably we want to get to the less traveled areas.
Yeah, you know, in the past, your family has used some of those tunnels off of that main shaft for lucrative and less than scrupulous business. A week away from town is a great place to put things that you don't necessarily want town to know about. Yeah.
And Meizaphir would never do anything like that.
Oh, come on now. Thought we were friends.
That's why she said you would never do anything like that.
Yeah, there was some hint of sarcasm in there.
You plunge into the darkness. Your route illuminated by the glow bright. Like I said, for about the first half hour of your walk, this route, the starting of it, is fairly well traveled. There are regularly people going back and forth between the farms and here, and the tunnel divers have done a good job at keeping it free of debris. And creatures, for the most part, don't linger here. The beasts from the dark tend to come across travelers deeper in the darkness, further away from town. Eventually, you pass that light, that glow bright, and you are left with your lanterns filled with moss and mushroom. And the world seems to swallow you up. Those of you who can see in the dark, your vision quickly becomes accustomed to it. You have the pale light. You can see the walls and the ceiling. You can see the shadows that are cast between things, where the deeper darkness is. But the light that Walker sees by, that dim light around him, seems to make the darkness even deeper, further away. And you walk. The first hour passes, and the second. Kheddeerta, this is likely the furthest from town you've ever been.
She may have gone to the bug farm once or twice, but not very often.
Gone on a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is run by kind of a splinter group of gardeners, so it makes sense if you had been there before, probably when you were younger with your parents.
Yeah, it's been a while, a very long while.
You travel onward for about 6 hours, and then you come to the path that you know leads off towards the farm. There's no sign posted here or anything like that, but there are very few routes that are maintained like this. It's solid. The stone here is secure. There's no cave-in or boulders that have rolled into place. There's no slime from some horrifying creature in the dark. It's just a turn off on this path that leads deeper into the darkness. You continue heading forward, and eventually that light glow of mushroom and mycelium begins to fill the chamber again. You see it far away at first, and then you can see your fingertips more easily, and you can start to pick out more features in the dark. You can see the stone here has been hewn and carefully picked at over years of effort, that the walkway down the stone that you're treading on, you can see where there's the small indentations from feet over time as people have tirelessly walked this path back and forth with crates. And eventually the chamber opens up. It's brightly lit with these clusters of mushrooms here and there. A few shacks have been built down below on the ground, and milling about there are large centipedes, a field easily several hundred yards that is filled with worms crawling and melding together into a writhing, wriggling mass. And there are people in muck boots sliding through it, feeding it castings and cast-offs.
Kheddeerta kind of shudders, and I've forgotten how gross this place can be sometimes.
Yes, it is not entirely pleasant.
Gornak's gonna look for somebody slightly in charge, and if not, then just ask somebody.
You see a person wearing canvas waders leaning against the outside edge of the field, like up against a fence, calling out orders here and there. It's a man, a human, in his late 40s. Kheddeerta, you would recognize him as Duncan. He's the gardener in charge of the meat. Your delicious worm meal meat.
Kheddeerta would step forward and wave her arms wide and say, "Hey, Duncan, hi!" and start rushing forward as picking her way through the mounds of bugs and crawly things.
Creepy crawlies.
That's the word, yes.
Yeah. He turns. He's chewing on some hard-shelled bug.
Stop.
He kind of is gnawing on it in the corner.
Stop it.
Yum, yum,
What?
yum.
Ah. Look at there. You're the Lichenstitch girl.
Kheddeerta, yep.
Good to see you. How your folks doing?
They're good. They're happy I'm away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's about time you coming out here to work. I didn't get paperwork for any of you.
She kind of lifts herself up and looks kind of very proud of herself. I am on an expedition.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
It's a top secret mission.
She kind of looks back towards everybody else. Maybe?
Oh. Well, I do like secrets. Why don't we
Probably the less I say, the better for everyone's safety.
sure, y'all here because you need some dried patties for the road, or just a place to rest before you knock off much further?
That second one.
Oh, hey, Walker. Meizaphir. Yeah, they got a little tip of the hat.
Hey, wouldn't say no to the latter though, or
Sure.
the former.
Both. Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
like a little bit for the road too.
We'll grow up for the road. Yeah.
Sure.
No
Uh,
pun intended.
I hope
Yeah,
the
we'll-
farming has been as lucrative as possible.
He turns and looks back out at the fields and people in them. Well, you want the optimistic answer, or you want the true?
The truth.
It's not nearly as good as we would expect. He wipes some sweat from his brow, takes his hat off.
Why not? Is something wrong with the stock here?
Seems to be. Yep.
Oh.
What seems to be the conundrum?
Not sure. But look, why don't you all heading over there? He points to one of the shacks, one of the visitor shacks. Go ahead and set your stuff down, and I'll grab a few things for you to take a look at. Maybe you'll have some ideas. Certainly not going to look gift knowledge in the mouth. That's how that goes, right? Something about that.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to take a look.
Great.
Same.
I'd take a look.
All right. Well, I'll be there in just a couple minutes. So go ahead and make yourselves at home. There should still be bedrolls in there. Yeah, I'll be there in just a minute. And he jumps over the gate and starts squelching through the fields out towards a couple of his hands.
Maximum squelch.
Maximum squelch. In the shack, there are a few bedrolls. It's just solid stone with moss, like thick moss laid over it, and a small table. There's a tea kettle and a couple clusters of glowbright that have been tended to and farmed in there. They're pretty The light they're giving off is pretty weak, though, as you settle in to another dark, dank space. Kind of homey.
Kheddeerta makes herself at home and grabs a bunk.
You all settle in, and as promised, it's about 10 minutes later when you hear a knock on the stone and a bit of a shuffle. Coming in. Duncan ducks his head in. He's got his hat held in his hands, and at first it doesn't look like he's carrying anything else. And then you notice that his hat is what's holding his findings as he comes over to the table and sets his hat down. Let's just take a look here.
Kheddeerta quickly walks over and peers into said hat.
You see bunches of mealworms, as you would expect, and some silk moths and some crunchy bugs, and all of them have white and gray speckling and spotting on them. And as you look closer, go ahead and give me a medicine or a nature roll, your choice.
They're both the same, so I will go ahead and go with nature.
Okay.
Oh, I only rolled a 13.
It's all right. So as you take a closer look at them, you can tell that the areas around where these markings are, their bodies seem almost rigid, like around it, and then you see little holes in that space. As you look more closely, you note their texture, like I said, their texture seems off.
Have they been finding anything to eat other than what you guys feed them? This looks like some kind of, I don't know if it was a plant, I would almost say blight.
We were thinking it could be a blight of some kind. We just can't get ahead of it. We've tried changing out some of their feed, rotating them more vigorously, making sure nobody's on the bottom for too long, like it might be some kind of mold or something. But it just can't figure it out, and they'll come through and whole swaths will be missing. It's almost like something is in there eating them.
Walker will take a look at the things and stuff that Kheddeerta sort of points out to him in the speckling and try to determine if it is fungal in nature.
Go ahead and give me a nature roll.
Sure you don't want it to be investigation?
You can give me an investigation roll. I'm happy to take an investigation.
So it's 3 + 5. I got an 8.
Yeah, you take a look. Similarly, you're flipping them over in your hands. You don't believe it's fungus of any kind. And as you're looking, you notice that they're it looks like it's almost holes. And it reminds you of burn marks, like maybe a chemical burn of some kind.
Is this affecting all of them, or just does it seem to be happening in a particular area?
No, it's popping up all over the field. It's usually a cluster here and a cluster there.
Do y'all have one big field, or do you have like multiple sectioned off areas?
The big field's been getting hit the most, but we have multiple zones based on how old they are. And we kind of keep them going through, and then when we have the castings come out for the fields, we have that all done separately. But we've been noticing the most in our big field, for sure. It's been the big field is where we've seen the biggest impact.
In this cave, are we able to see the ceiling?
It's probably, at different heights throughout. It's anywhere from 50 to 100 feet up. So the 50-foot high sections you can definitely see. The parts that are higher up, you cannot. It is just darkness.
Duncan, has there been any investigation to see if there's any substance leaking from the ceiling into the fields?
No. I'll be honest, I never even never even would have thought of that.
Can you take me to one of the newest ones that has this beginning?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's where I just was. I'm happy to. I mean, do you all want to get something to eat first and get some rest? I don't know how long you've been out, or do you just want to come down and take a look before you get your good boots off?
I'm ready to go whenever, but it may be prudent that we don't eat before we go and eat after. As from what I am told, the sight of farms and being in them causes gastrointestinal distress to those that eat.
I've never had a problem with that.
You are a stalwart man, Duncan.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm ready to go look.
All right, then. He grabs a couple more crunchy bugs from his side pouch and tosses them into his mouth and starts chewing on them like seeds. Popping. You hear the pop and then a squelch as he sucks out the innards between his teeth.
Stop.
And steps back out through the door and leads you over to the side. He hops over the railing and offers a hand to each of you to help you over. So when you walk through here, try your best to shift your feet. Don't lift them. Just kind of slide your feet through them. They'll move out of the way. But if you lift your feet up and step down, you'll squish a bunch of them, and we can't have that.
Definitely it is.
He takes off. He is practiced at this particular maneuver, and pretty quickly he's gained about half the distance on you, half again, as you're traveling. There's a few other farmers out here still working. You see them with their large nets and buckets, scooping massive amounts of these, putting them in the buckets, handing them off to the next person who takes them to the next station, where they are mashing them and preparing them for pucks, for the meal pucks that get shipped back to the settlement, shipped back to Brightshore. He wades in about 80 yards with all of you, waits there patiently, and when you get there, you see there is a large grouping of them, about 20 feet across, that have these markings. They're not wiggling and writhing as much. They are still alive, but they seem in distress.
Kheddeerta will approach them, and she actually will kind of clear out a spot and sit down cross-legged near all of them. And she holds out her hands, closes her eyes, and casts Detect Poison and Disease.
Ooh.
Get about it.
All right. Couple things happen here.
Swarmed.
One, Kheddeerta sits down. She clears out an area and sits, and the bugs now are about to her shoulders. It's a thick, deep field, and she's now sitting cross-legged in them. They were already high on her body, but she is dedicated to what she's doing as she casts Detect Poison and Disease. You detect poison in all of the creatures surrounding you. They have been poisoned in some way. And importantly, you detect poisonous creatures just below your bottom and all around you, just below the surface.
Not to nitpick, but I think it's venomous.
Venomous. It says poisonous creatures in the spell. I am simply using it. Perhaps they are poisonous. Maybe they are
And if
fungal.
they're not good for eating, that makes sense.
That makes them poisonous. Yeah, I guess.
You sense that as you've now seated yourself and settled down in the midst of them. You are not surprised but you now feel the sharp chitinous grasp of things that begin to grab onto your legs. Go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Don't like that. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Gornak got a 10.
Kheddeerta got a 13.
Meizaphir got a 17.
Walker got an 18.
All right, and they got a 15. So Kheddeerta, you're not surprised as you feel these chitinous claws begin to poke and start to try and tear at you. So we're going to pick up with you, Kheddeerta, at 13. You are first to act.
We have very poisonous company. And she quickly gets up. I don't know if because of her surroundings that is her action.
Nope, it's 15 feet of movement to stand up. That's all.
Okay. And she immediately casts Shillelagh.
Okay. What does your shillelagh look like?
It is basically a large staff. Or small to everybody else, but large to her.
Sounds good. So you all watch as it appears in Kheddeerta's hands. She's now jumped to her feet. Gornak, what do you do, sir?
Gornak doesn't see a threat at all, but he prepares nonetheless, and draws a dagger from a sheath at his belt.
Walker.
Yeah, kind of probably in the same boat as Gornak. Do I see anything moving that looks like not grubs or worms?
You see the surface now of the grubs and the worms begin to kind of lift up in places, and undulate wildly. But you do not clearly see whatever's under the worms.
Okay, Walker will kind of reach up into his coat, grab out this thing that looks vaguely like a glass cylinder encased around what looks like it could be construed as a grenade casing, and it is filled with like a green liquid that glows mildly. He presses and touches a couple of knobs on it, seeming to like have it be ready. It kind of number of runes on it sort of light up green just like the light, and he holds it ready, and I will ready an action to cast Fairy Fire when I see these things.
Meizaphir.
Meizaphir shakes his arm blade loose and kind of cuts a swath around himself on the ground through the bugs, just to try and clear some of them away from himself. Get a little patch of ground. At least that's his hope.
Yeah, so you are scraping, pushing away at the worms. It's hard. I mean, they're a couple feet high, right? Mass, but you're flinging them out of the way. And it's while you're kind of on the back swing, clearing out this patch around you, that your blade kind of thunk, 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 thunk across something on the ground. And you look down now and you see these spines, hundreds of toothy spines that are encapsulated in purple flesh that begin to squeeze at the air that's now above them, and then it lunges, leaping up at you.
It's my favorite. I love it.
Oh no. Does an 18 hit, Meizaphir?
Sure does.
You take 12 points of necrotic damage as everyone sees this creature leap upwards and encase Meizaphir's face and head
Yeah, Meizaphir is unconscious.
You feel the teeth bite into your skin, and then everyone watches. You can see this pale, sickly form begin to fill and engorge with Meizaphir's blood.
So I see it?
Oh yeah, everyone sees it.
Okay. Is there a
Is
way
it-
I can cast Fairy Fire on it so
You
that
may.
it target just it and hopefully other things that are not my allies?
It will get everyone within a 20-foot cube, so it will get your allies as well.
Can I position it so that it doesn't?
Sure. You can get Meizaphir plus a swath that doesn't include anybody else. Yeah, I can allow that. It might not get all the creatures, but you will get many of them. As you press the sigils on your box.
Yeah. So I press the sigils on my Duga and I kind of lob it in a not at it, but it looks like I'm like kind of throwing it wildly until it like hits and goes off in that cube, sort of making sure to not hit as many of my allies as I can with it.
You watch as Meizaphir, unfortunately, lights up, the creature lights up, and then the worms begin to glow. And you see now within them there are 3 more of these writhing to the flesh creatures underneath. And they are slowly shifting to get around the rest of you. Kheddeerta.
She attacks the one that is on Meizaphir.
I love it. You just full on swing at the one that's attached to his face.
Oh yes, baseball bat.
Okay. Roll to strike.
Come on, that one, baby.
Does an 18 hit.
Oh,
Aw.
18 absolutely hits.
And it takes 7 magic damage.
7 magic damage. Yeah, you swing, bat, and maybe it is all of the times that you've wanted to hit Meizaphir in the face. But now is your chance as you hit into this creature that is, like I said, it's engorging with all the blood from Meizaphir's body at this point. As you hit it, and blood begins to squelch and squirt out of its back, and it flaps. And for a brief moment, you think it may let go of Meizaphir's face before it sinks back in again and clenches down. But now blood is spurting out of where you struck it. Gornak.
Gornak's going to do something similar to actually what he did to the tentacle creature in the sunken home. He's going to reach out with his left hand and try and grasp the tail end of this lamprey-like creature, and he's going to slide his dagger in between his hand and Meizaphir's face and try and sever it. So I'm not going to do the surprise attack thing, even if I can, because I'm hoping that it'll drop, and I'll use that on somebody who hasn't been hit already. But I don't think I hit with a 7.
7 does not hit. You have advantage on the roll because of Fairy Fire, so if you would like to roll and take the highest.
I would love to. How about a 12?
12 does not hit. It's too finicky. Like, you're trying to get it and not Meizaphir is
Sure.
the problem.
I'm sure he's trying to grasp at it as well, and it's just wriggling away, and that's not really working for him.
It's certainly not what you expected to happen 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. In that case, so Meizaphir, did you say that you dropped?
Oh yeah. 12 damage is more hit points than he has.
So Gornak's been holding on to a little secret. It's kind of been revealed, but not to his party. And seeing one of his allies go down, like in an instant, he's going to think this might be the time, but he really doesn't want to, especially in front of all these gardeners. But he is going to dig deep, and he's going to kind of take a sharp inhale, and under the surface of the stone and the mud, water is going to start squirming its way upwards from the underground caverns and waterways, and it's going to start coalescing in a pool nearby. And out of this pool reaches a tentacle of the deep, and it's going to make an attack against one creature within 10 feet. So he's going to go for the one that's on top of Meizaphir again.
Okay.
And that is going to be... Is that also with advantage then?
Yes, it is.
All right, so I got a 20 for the first roll.
That's
and 15. So yeah, 20, and it is going to take 1d8 plus 3. It is going to take 7 points of cold damage.
Another 7. Yeah, you see this tendril, this pool of the fathomless one lash out, and the thing holding on to Meizaphir's face loosens, and the sack falls away, and you see all of the puncture wounds tearing apart his flesh as he's now laying there next to it on the ground. And Duncan is yelling and now swinging his staff at the tentacle.
Great.
Attacking it. Walker, there's 3 of these creatures still that are slowly moving into position around you.
I'm going to walk over to Meizaphir. And I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on Meizaphir.
That's great.
For 4 points of damage. Literally the smallest amount I possibly can.
Better than a kick in the teeth.
Yeah,
Roll the 1.
Yeah. Meizaphir, just in time. It is your turn.
He's gonna get up and do a quick look to see if the creature is still around. And I assume see. Did you say 3 of them?
There are 3. There are 3 others that have been moving into position, yes, and there's one dead one now, kind of still half on you. It's not clinging into you, though, as you brush it off, peel it off.
He'll probably kind of shake it off with like an involuntary shiver of, fuck. And then whichever one's closest, is there one like within rapier range, or?
Yes. Yeah, if you take a step, you'll be able to hit it. Yep.
Nope. Not taking a step. Shooting with a crossbow.
Got it. Okay.
He's gonna kind of fumble and grab his crossbow and take a shot. Not getting any closer to that thing, thanks. Also not hitting that thing, thanks.
You have advantage on the roll because of Fairy Fire.
Awesome.
I love
so
this.
the 9 misses and the 19 should hit.
That is a
For
hit
9 damage.
for 9. And then as a rogue, do you have sneak attack yet, or is that not?
He's a ranger, bro.
Oh, he's
I
a
am
ranger.
a ranger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
I
can
did
fight
Hey,
the
if
with
you want to
Dang.
give me
Dang.
sneak attack damage,
No, you range him for 9 damage.
yeah.
You have favorite foe?
I do, and that thing ain't it.
There.
Yeah, you see the crossbow bolt pierce into one of them, and it begins to curl up and shake, quiver, ready for its attack. As the 3 all lunge at once. One heading towards Meizaphir.
Oh, not it.
One.
No, I called that it.
Or sorry, not Meizaphir. Sorry. One heading towards Walker.
What?
One-
You can do that?
One heading towards Gornak.
No,
And
not
one-
Gornak.
And one heading for Kheddeerta.
Not okay.
It wants my sweet, sweet oils.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about this.
The only one I believe who gets hit is, well, sorry, does a 15 hit you, Walker?
That is my armor class is 15.
So that is a hit. Does a 13 hit you, Gornak?
That is my armor class exactly.
Does a 10 hit you, Kheddeerta?
Thankfully, it does not.
All right. Walker, you are going to take... Walker, you take 10 points of damage as this thing lashes onto you. Gornak, you take 11 points of damage.
Gornak drops. You know we're level 1, right?
I do.
Okay, just making sure.
And you see the one that's latched onto Walker. It's like piercing into his metal and tearing away at him as the one that's on Gornak begins to fill with blood.
What happens to my my tentacle?
Is it concentration?
Let's find out.
Shit, I have to roll a concentration roll because I took damage, because Fairy Fire is concentration.
That is correct.
So, what do I roll?
You're going to roll
A Constitution saving
a
throw?
Constitution saving throw. Yep, equal to, in this case, 10.
Okay. Got an 8.
Yeah, you watch as the light begins to fade and fizzle. Kheddeerta, it is your turn.
That is also where I'm a Viking. I should have a plus. I have a +5 to that. I've rolled very poorly, and I'm upset about it.
That happens.
Seeing her other friend drop, she frantically runs to strike the one that is on Gornak.
Okay.
She swings and a miss.
And a miss. 12 is a miss. And yeah, it's the fairy fire. As the fairy fire slides away, it's just that last moment you see the flicker, but it was in the wrong space as you swing to hit. Gornak.
Okay, so it doesn't say that it's concentration.
Then it's still around.
Okay. It doesn't need me to... It might need me to direct it, though.
Do you know what the name of it is?
Yeah, it's called Tentacle of the Deep. So as a bonus action on your turn, you can move the tentacle up to 30 feet and repeat the attack, which I think would mean that I cannot command it to do that, and it won't just do it automatically.
Yeah, so it is still there. The tentacle is still there. Roll a death saving throw for me.
You got it. That is a 5.
That's our first failed death saving throw, I believe. As this thing continues to suck the life out of Gornak. And above him now, there is a tentacle of water. It's getting splashed and hit by Duncan, who, as it stops, and he's holding his staff up, he looks over his shoulder and he sees now the calamity behind him, and he turns and swings his staff in hopes of hitting the one attached to Walker. He does not. As he swings his staff,
Thanks, Duncan.
he looks terrified at whatever's happening here. Walker.
Is Duncan positioned in such a way that I have flanking on this creature?
Flanking is not normally a thing.
So that's that a no?
That is a no, yeah.
Okay. If I have Firebolt and I go to attack it, I make that attack at disadvantage, right?
No. No, you do
Okay.
not. It's a normal attack.
Okay. I think it's a range. Okay.
Yep. That's fine. It is still a normal attack roll.
I rolled a 2 for a total of 7.
It's a dangerous time right now. Dangerous time to be alive. Meizaphir, there's firebolts getting cast. There's a water tentacle. What do you
So
do?
long as it's not these creepy crawlies casting the fireballs, we're all good.
Unlikely.
Yep.
So there's one attached to Gornak. There's one attached to Meizaphir. That's not getting anywhere.
Walker.
And there's
Walker.
sorry, there's one attached to Walker. I apologize. And there's one that lunged at Kheddeerta and missed.
We gotta get better ACs there, Kevin. We gotta up Gornak and Walker's AC here, man.
I'm a
Hey,
caster,
I'd like to
bro.
get on that party too.
I mean, same. We gotta figure something out, bro. Let's get some shields.
It is Meizaphir's turn.
Cool. So Walker's down. Is that correct?
Meizaphir is down.
Gornak
Meizaphir
is
isn't
down.
down. Meizaphir's back up. Gornak's down. That's right.
Gornak is down.
I'm gonna go after whatever one is on Gornak.
Okay.
Shoot at it. That has worked well for me so far.
All right. Shoot.
Don't worry, I'm good at this. He says, right as an 18 to hit.
All right.
Sweet.
For 4 damage. It turns out 4 damage is exactly what you needed
Hell
to kill
yeah.
the one attached to Gornak's face.
Great. And not Gornak's face.
And not Gornak's face. That is correct.
He is good at this.
He is, as it now has 2 bolts sticking out of it. And similarly, it kind of releases its tense flex into Gornak, most of its teeth sliding free as they go. There's 2 still alive. 1 is attached to Walker. Walker, you take... Oh, good lord. 6 points of damage from the one that's attached to you.
Walker falls unconscious.
It is necrotic. I don't believe you have resistance necrotic.
I might. Let's double check here.
Yeah, as it tears inside of you. Kheddeerta, the one that's next to you, it landed about 15 feet away, and now it's laying there, quivering and shaking, but not moving at all.
And this one has not attacked anyone else yet, or it lunged and misses.
It missed you and landed about 15 feet away, and now it's laying kind of in the worms, and it doesn't seem to know where to go.
She's going to move forward to the extent that her staff can hit, and she is going to bring her staff up over her head and smack it onto it as hard as possible.
Okay. Roll to strike.
Fucking hell, and a 9, so she misses.
You hit those worms next to it, though. And as you get closer to it, the thing that happens is as you're getting closer and you step in to do your strike, suddenly it seems to notice you're there, and it turns towards you and lunges. And that action causes the hesitation, right? That makes you miss as you're swinging, because it seems to be aware of you again. Gornak, roll death saving throw for me.
Good. I made like 4 characters, so I want to play them all. Oh, that's a 13.
Oh, 1 failure, 1 success.
On the right track, I guess.
On the right track. Walker,
I guess I make a death saving throw?
give me a death saving throw.
That's just a D10, right?
It's a D20.
Or a D20.
Yep, and you were looking for 10 and above is a success. 1 through 9 is a failure. 1 is a critical failure. 20 is a critical
Roll a 1.
success.
If you can roll a 20, that'd be awesome.
Do Warforged not auto-stabilize in 5th?
No, I have construct advance, but that just means I don't need to sleep. Magic can't put me to sleep, and I can't be poisoned. And I have advantage on saving throws against poison and resistance against poison damage. It doesn't say anything about auto-stabilizing.
I just, I know 3-5 better than 5th.
Yeah,
How'd you do on your D20?
I got a 2.
Well, it's not a 1.
It's not a 1.
That is important to know.
Meizaphir.
So
Walker's
Meizaphir's
down.
going to look over at Kheddeerta and be like, help back. And then he's going to try and shoot at the one that is menacing Kheddeerta so that I can hopefully free up her actions.
Okay.
Provided I hit, which I do not.
You do not. It goes wide.
That's what I mean. How many times? I think we've hit these things a total of 4 times and missed them a total of like 100.
I'm hitting it about 2/3 of the time so far, so that ain't too bad.
I
Kheddeerta.
have hit nobody.
Meizaphir.
Oh, also, Meizaphir should have gotten a. I was reading back through things, and with Fairy Fire, you get a Dex saving throw.
Ah,
It's gone now anyway.
I know,
Yeah,
just
it's
for
fine.
next time.
Meizaphir and Kheddeerta, I need intelligence saving throws, please.
Also, Meizaphir was unconscious when that fairy fire thing happened, so Dex saving throw is kind of out of the running for that. Also, so in save,
Ooh.
I have rolled poorly. I've got a 4.
I rolled a 7.
Yeah, you're unsure why you suddenly have this strong desire. It kind of overwhelms you. There's something about this thing that you've been trying to hit, Kheddeerta. This innocent creature. And you realize it's just a part of nature. You are the interloper here, not it. This is its home. You're the one that's changing things.
Yeah, man, it's the bad part of nature.
And you have this need, this desire to pick it up and hold it. Try and make it okay for it right now, because you've probably scared it. You see its little quivering mass, and you realize it's just scared, Kheddeerta. It's just scared. And then,
Fuck.
Meizaphir, you are overcome with this need. You see the one on Walker that's attached to him, that's there, and you realize this poor pathetic creature, all it wants to do is eat. Look at it there. It can't even eat though where it's at. It's stuck. It's trapped. It's trapped on Meizaphir, or on Walker.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I by chance being charmed or something?
You are.
I do have advantage on that. Thanks very much. Yes.
You should roll.
I'm rolling as we speak. I got a 17. Suck
Yeah,
it.
so you feel, hold on. So you feel that need, that desire. There's this poor creature. And then you realize, no, that's not you. That's not your thinking.
This is one of the creatures that tried to eat me. Not
That's
cool,
correct.
man.
Yep, and you realize it is trying to manipulate you and control your mind. Kheddeerta, it is your turn.
Oh, this is a level 1 encounter, man.
Since I failed the save, I don't know if I have to go pick it up like the description says. Okay.
That is correct. It is a suggestion, and the suggestion it gave you, that it left you with, was to pick it up and hold it because it's scared.
Even if her first, like, shit, I just need to go get my friends up is...
Yep.
Okay, that's what she does then.
You pick it up. It lets you, as it kind of quivers in your grasp. It's cold. It's so cold. But as you pull it closer to you and you hug it, you feel it start to warm up. This is where it's supposed to be.
And it goes to you and says, Mama. Mama.
Warming up because it's sucking your blood out.
Gornak.
Gornak. Death saving throw number 3. That is a natural 20.
Is it?
Holy
Yeah.
He's up. You awaken.
Awaken
Got
and
weird, buddy.
turn is over.
It happens at the end of your turn. I will say I'll allow your bonus action to still happen.
Okay.
You still have a bonus action.
That's generous because of the situation you put us in.
That's perhaps the case.
Okay. He kind of wakes up with a snap. I'm sure the tentacle was kind of trying to splash water on his face or something like that. Maybe give him a little tickle. And he's kind of lethargic from all this blood loss. And he says, "Good, get it!" And it'll move and slap the one that's on Walker, I guess.
All right.
A +5 to hit is 12.
12
Damn.
is a miss. As you splash water all over Walker. Walker, roll your death saving throw.
As you short circuit.
Do I like any of you guys right now? Well, I like the rest of you. I just don't like... Yep. I don't like Kyle. Kyle,
That's fair.
he's poopy. Okay. 12.
12. Success.
Yay. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah,
All
Duncan sees the water beast helping, and he spins around and lashes out at the one holding onto Walker. It hits. He smacks him for 3
Good job.
damage.
Okay. It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. Meizaphir.
All right. Meizaphir is gonna drop his crossbow and go back for the arm rapier. He's gonna like shake it loose again and like run over to Kheddeerta and try and just cut the thing off of her.
Yeah, you see as it's starting to slowly fill with Kheddeerta's blood.
Yep.
Go ahead, roll the strike.
And as he is attacking, he's gonna yell, "No, don't help that!" And does a 13 hit?
A 13. Yes, a 13 hits.
Yay, happy day. 8 damage. Get off her.
We figured out if they see.
It quivers and shakes. And you yell that, and Kheddeerta, you snap out of it. And you're hugging this thing, and its teeth are embedded in you, and you have taken 6 points of damage from it as it's sucking your life out.
With us?
The one on Walker suddenly lunges at Duncan, and you watch as Duncan falls backwards, screaming as this thing is now attached to him like a coat on his face.
He screams and throws it away from her.
Yeah, you send it sailing away, back out into the mass of worms, and again you see it lay there, and it quivers and shakes a little bit, and then just lays there stationary on top of the worms. All right, Gornak.
Gornak's going to shakily rise to his feet and stick a finger out as it starts to glow with fire. But this fire turns dark and purple as it lances out with a eldritch blast. Do I take any kind of disadvantage for attacking the one on the guy's back, Duncan's back?
You do not.
All right, here comes attack. 20 to hit,
That's a hit.
and that is 8 points of eldritch blast damage.
Yeah, the magic damage sears through its body, and you watch as it shakes, and you feel the psychic scream off of it as it folds in on itself and falls off of him. Right.
Then he commands with his bonus action the tentacle to get the one in the throng, and the tentacle can move up to 30 feet and strike.
Okay.
So the tentacle kind of sinks deep back into the earth, and this puddle travels, and the tentacle rises again next to it, or actually 10 feet away from it because it's got some reach. And a 21 to hit
That's a hit.
for only 5 points of damage.
Okay. It is still alive and kicking. Well, alive and squeezing at the air now as it's trying to attack this watery arm. All right, Walker, give us a success.
Please, or die trying.
I get it.
Ooh, that's 2 failures. 2 fails and 1 success.
Oh man. I'm not gonna lie, if Walker dies, it's gonna be a bummer.
Duncan is laying face down in the worms underneath the creature that got zapped on his back. Meizaphir.
So there's still one on Walker, correct?
No.
Or is that one dead now?
That one is dead now. Walker is not moving.
Are there any still alive?
The one that is being attacked by a giant tentacle of water.
I'm going to attempt to
About
go
10
help
feet away.
the tentacle.
Okay.
Yeah, just running straight over there and attacking with my arm blade.
Okay. A 9 is a miss.
Yeah, it is. I'm a little freaked out by this tentacle thing. And then I will yell back to Kheddeerta to help Walker.
Kheddeerta.
Kheddeerta snaps out of the panic and horror that she was in and looks over at Walker and immediately runs over and lays her hands on him and casts Cure Wounds.
For 9.
Oh, that's real good.
And he takes 9.
9 healing.
Shame it doesn't work on Warforged.
It does.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It does work.
Unfortunately, magical healing doesn't work on. No, it does. It totally does.
Yeah,
As you watch.
It kind of does. It's half value though.
He's messing with
I'll take
everybody.
everything at this point.
No, Walker's
Turn gods, I'm gonna kill
pieces
you.
begin to knit and manage back together as his form is healed for 9 hit points. You watch it happen. It finally happened, Kheddeerta. You were able to mend a part of Walker, and not just in your laboratory. Gornak.
Gornak is going to repeat the show. He's going to take a blast of eldritch energy and point it at the creature's way with a natural 20.
That's it.
That's it.
And that is also going to be it. If you roll minimum damage, you will.
All right. Well, let's see. Don't take that away from me. 14 points of
Good lord.
eldritch damage.
Yeah, you blast a swath into
Whoops.
the worm field. Just like a 10-foot wide, 15-foot long patch get eliminated beneath your eldritch blast. And you see Duncan continue to lay face down as Walker, you awaken beneath Kheddeerta's magical touch.
Gornak's panting heavily and kind of swaying on his feet from all the blood loss and the exertion.
Yeah, Walker kind of gets up and looks around at what's going on, kind of getting his bearings. Sees Duncan probably face down and goes over to help him.
Meizaphir is already pretty close. He's going to be like picking Duncan up and kind of shaking him a little bit and yelling for Kheddeerta.
Somebody give me a medicine roll, whoever's going to make that roll.
That is not going to be me. I also call for Kheddeerta.
Do I have to be? Do I have to have it trained, or can I just make a roll?
You can just make a roll if you want.
I didn't
if you
like
make
the
a roll
look
and
on
fail,
his face when he said that.
I got a 16.
Ooh, you got a 16.
that's not bad.
So as you're
I
yelling,
shake him in the
Kheddeerta-
right way.
Yeah, as you're shaking him and you're yelling for Kheddeerta to get near you, you realize he has worms in his nose and in his mouth and his ears, and you begin to scoop them
Nasty.
out. Yeah, freeing his mouth, and you hear him take a rattle, sudden breath, as you've now eliminated the choking problem.
Yep.
You are out of initiative. You've destroyed 4 of these creatures and 150 square feet or so of food. And there's a water tentacle next to you.
That food was tainted. It's okay.
We're just like the Avengers.
Yeah. Massive collateral damage. I grab one of these dead creatures and I put it in like a sack that I've got.
Yeah, you roll it up like a rug.
Yeah.
You get the one that was attached to you because it wasn't all full of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put it in, it's like a toothy throw rug as you or throw blanket as you slide it into your bag.
I hate it.
I'm gonna throw one of his arms over my shoulder and kind of help him back towards the entrance that we came in through, and by way of where I dropped my crossbow.
You ever seen something like that? What are those things?
Bad. They're bad.
It's
No, I
like
haven't seen anything like that before.
It's like a roper's claws or something, like one of their tentacle hands.
Is there a knowledge roll I can make to see if I know about these things at all?
Yeah, give me an Arcana roll.
Now that everybody is up and as healthy as they possibly could be at the moment without further assistance that she does not have, without some rest, she is going to go examine one of these creatures as well and make a
Is there still
nature
one stuck
check?
in me?
A tooth?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, there's a creature that had to be peeled out of you because all of its teeth were sunk in.
Uh-huh.
So you have to kind of extract it carefully.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet, so I got one for you.
I got a 12 on my Arcana check.
Yeah, so you had, Walker, you'd actually done a little bit of research on this earlier, not on these specific creatures, but on aberrations. Remember, Brightshore being at the edge of darkness tends to draw these things in. And as you're looking at this creature, you recognize it for what it is, that it is an aberration. It is a creature spawned for some unknowable reason. You're unsure of what kind, aside from the fact that it is a parasite. It's clearly a parasitic creature. It was feeding on the blood of others. And when you're looking at it, doesn't have eyes. And this is for you as well, Kheddeerta, now that you're taking a look at it. You poke it and you see that the musculature is still slightly active after it's dead, but it has no eyes. It has no mouth. As you're looking at it, it seems to not have any internal organs at all. The claws were needle-like and extracted your blood that would fill its back, that would fill it and turn it into a globe of red, warm blood until it used that energy. But it seems like these horrific beasts exist only to exist.
Kheddeerta pulls out a book and starts making a ton of field notes and some drawings, and she pulls out some of the little spines and teeth and sticks them into little jars around her person and starts kind of not quite dissecting one, but just making observations and everything that she possibly can at the moment.
Figured we would use the one in my sack for such things when we were no longer in the field.
Oh, you actually have one. That's probably a much better idea. We should probably do that. And oh my gosh, Duncan, are you okay? And she starts going over and doing a medicine check on him to see if she can help patch any of his wounds, and then starts to do the same for everybody else, realizing that, oh, we are all very, very injured.
He's sitting on a bench now that Meizaphir had gotten him over to, and he's kind of looking at all of you, and he keeps looking back at Gornak, as he's like, I guess welcome to the Warrens. Welcome to your first adventure, Kheddeerta.
Does this kind of stuff happen very often?
Here in the fields, no. Out there, yeah. All the time. I hear stories from folks like Meizaphir about stuff like this. They must have snuck in somehow. I don't know how they got in there.
They came up beneath the soil.
Oh no. I wonder if that means there's more of them.
Quite possibly. I think this might be... I mean, so when I took a look at everything, and all of these things are poisoned.
Do they lay eggs or anything like that?
I don't know yet. I haven't had a really chance to examine these and to study them yet.
What I understand, these are parasitic aberrations. They are birthed for some malevolent, unknown purpose. And from what I was able to research, They are not so much as... I believe their reproductive process is likely does not involve eggs, so to speak. But I am not an expert on physiology. Perhaps a dissection will provide greater information.
Kheddeerta had rolled a 20 on her nature check while examining these things.
Yeah, they don't have any eggs or anything like that you know of. As you sit there with him on the bench, he's watching Gornak now with the water in the tentacle in the field. Hey, you.
During this time, Gornak probably had the tentacle kind of help him limp over to the outside of the ring of worms and dismiss it as it collapses in on itself and just turns to a wet puddle on the ground. And he looks up at Duncan and says, "Yeah, me."
That'd be useful in the fields.
Useful in the fields and a terror to behold elsewhere, I'm afraid. And he turns to the group and he says, let me rest and I can explain.
I think rest is a good idea for me too now.
We all really need it badly.
Well, welcome to the solace and comfort of the farm.
Thanks for the hospitality.
And that's where we'll wrap.
Oh, hey.
I have a crying baby now.
It's me. I'm the crying baby.
You're the crying baby.
Same. I'm also the crying baby. That was
Oh my god.
a brutal fight, man.
Thank you for listening to Brightshore. This and other settings, modules, and maps for various TTRPGs can be found at patreon.com/Dungeon Rogues. Rate, review, like, follow, or subscribe wherever you're listening. We will see you next time on the rocky beaches of Brightshore.